Okay, hello. Uh, well, my name is Zeugh. Hello. Very nice to be here talking to you today. Want to show a little bit of the work we've been doing in Blockfull towards making governance more resilient. I know anti-capture resilience DAC is something that we care a lot about in here, and how we govern ourselves really needs to take a look into that. Very quick intro. Zeugh, doing governance research with Blockfull. We look at coordination as a goal. Governance is a path for us to coordinate better. And we see DAOs as very good experiments for us to learn how to do better governance. Truth is, it's not very good right now. We see some of the best experiments in Ethereum, and we see that some of those best experiments constantly fail at different points, and we're trying to learn why and how to improve them. And at this point in time, we're trying to find out how to make them safer. And the reason for that is because over the last 10 years or so, almost $500 million got stolen out of DAOs, but not into a perspective of stolen as a security attacks on the code or anything. But with code behaving as it should, audited and safe, it was stolen or misappropriated or moved differently to the mission of the DAO or the goal stated through governance. This research we're doing, we found 2 attacks in this last year that were open attack vectors, and through applying this, we were able to help prevent over $150 million to be vulnerable at those spots. And well, that's why we're advancing this research, to try to make this as clear for other DAOs too. There's a challenge in it though, because a machine to find attacks to prevent them can be used as a machine to find attacks to execute them. So we're currently in the process of finding out how to open source a good part of what we're doing. So if you have ideas of how to make a framework that could attack DAOs secure to be openly published, please reach us out. We'd love to know more how we can make this completely public, or if we should or if we shouldn't. We got to it by working over last few years into governance models, governance tools, governance design, every little bit around DAOs. We're looking at AI delegates and reputations, and when you look at AI delegates, AIs in governance, you realize that if they are exposed to humans, they're not going to last very long once AIs decide that that's easy money to take. We were, as active service providers for ENS DAO, when we found the first signs that their governance was not safe. They had very low delegation amounts, and even smaller than the votable supply of tokens they had even smaller activity. We started looking into that scenario, what that could mean, and started realizing that there were some problems. For those who are not familiar, I'll go very fast with what's the compound governor model that they use. It's basically between a token, a governor, and a time lock contract, and a proposal life cycle. A governance life cycle goes from someone that gets tokens, they buy tokens, or they get tokens in an airdrop. They delegate those tokens to a wallet that gets the power to vote. That wallet, depending on their balance, is able to also propose or not. And from proposals, they can then vote. And through the time lock, that proposal will be scheduled and executed. On the ENS case, what we found is that the liquid treasury that we're calling is basically their stables and their ETH, not counting their own governance tokens, as that would suffer a lot during an attack. But that drainable amount was way above what was needed to take it. So it's simple math. I put $10, I get $100. That's a 10x, and there's quite a few of those available. But beyond that, not only the delegated amount, the votable supply was small, but the activity was way smaller. And in the market, you could see wallets that had more than that, or more than enough to just go and drain. So at around $30 million at the time, with the biggest possible cost of attack to reach around like half the delegated cap, you'd be able to move forward to do that drain. And that's not only because of market conditions, but also of other parts of how the DAO is set up. Those are like the governance implementation parts of it, the market conditions of it, and they're quite similar to constitutional constraints if you try to start looking into DAOs and code as similar to constitutions. The rules of what it allows you to do. So other ways you could make this attack even cheaper would be through borrowing, ENS, shorting in an open market just to reduce your cost or increase your profit, or even like by delegation from bribes, even directly on chain or through a call. Beyond that, they had even more points of their governance that was very worrying. So a voting delay of 1 block. A voting delay is the time between when a proposal is created and the power for that vote is accounted. ENS has currently still this 1 block voting delay, which gives no time for reactions. When I see a proposal, it's already ready to get voted 12 seconds later. Not a lot of time to think about what to do or coordinate your holders, your investors, your community to try to defend. And also, I can buy the tokens, make a proposal, and sell in the next block and reduce my risk here. Also, they had no spam proposal, no defense against spam proposals, which could just lead into a war of attrition with a script spamming proposals to try to get through with a way lower cost. Basically, the case led us to start mapping those 2 things that could lead to an easy attack. So a weak governance stack and bad economic conditions. We cannot really look too deeply into the second one as something that would be stable. Either something on your treasury spikes or your governance token gets dumped. We're seeing a lot of volatility here for what could be defined. So we're focusing on understanding how to improve a governance stack and how to identify what it needs. What we did for ENS to solve this, not only identify, was to put a security council in place. It just holds the DAO safe until we can solve the whole stack of governance they use. Basically, it's a contract that allows a multi-sig to veto a proposal. They only have a veto power, they cannot execute, and that expires over 2 years. So we also guarantee that they cannot, over this security council, capture the DAO in the long term. Basically, it makes the attack not really viable. The amount of risk that you would have to take as a malicious actor, knowing you can just get canceled, just makes it not really worth it. We turned that into, we found the attack, we solved the attack, and after we went to get a security bounty, looking at this idea of getting retro-funded, because really going to the DAO and saying, hey, you have a problem, that's how you could be attacked, let's solve it together, wouldn't really do it, right? And once you bring that into life, you're in a bad spot. And we were very happy to see a unanimous, except our own abstention, basically unanimity to support us at that. If anyone wants to know more of that case specifically, it's in our mirror, you can read our mint. I'm gonna skip a little bit ahead to be sure we get in time. The attack let us start digging more into a bunch of governance attacks. So over 30 governance attacks that we were able to analyze, look for patterns, to try to create a standard that we can use to make more DAOs safe. It's a framework that's based on four verticals of analysis. Basically, we're looking into economic conditions, token distribution, the governance implementation, and activity. Economic conditions is basically if it's profitable to attack. Recent clear example was Aragon, that basically it was a risk-free value. So you look at the market, you see it's a simple multiplication of how much money you have to put to how much money you have to take. They have also a legal structure behind it. It was quite the debate for a while whether what side was right, but that's not the debate. The idea here is to observe that the balances that they had in treasury, in at market, made it a profitable attack to be executed. Token distribution, so where is the power and how accessible it is. One other recent example is like Mango Markets. They had other problems with attacks, but they had this more recent one where buying tokens from broken FTX in an OTC deal and using those tokens to vote a proposal for the DAO to buy the tokens back for you. So the profit and the weapon are both on the same piece. Governance implementation is looking at more details of how that governance is made. There's a list of over 40 things that we're looking at when we're making a full analysis of a DAO. A few of them are vote mutability, your front-end security. I have to speed up a little bit, so not get into the details of that one. And governance activity, which was another recent attack on Compound, where the Golden Boys had this proposal that is also available for you to read, who was in Georgia last year. We followed that along while Georgia was happening. And the way we're looking at attacks is understanding that how would we attack a DAO with unlimited and financial and technical resources, looking at its context, looking how its governance works, what it controls, its only treasury, is it protocol rules, what can it actually move to be an incentive? Because we normally look at Lazarus Group as this big hidden enemy, and we have to assume that Lazarus already knows, right? If you don't know your governance is not safe, someone gonna do before you do. We assume that attackers are always creative, they're smart, and they're well capitalized, and we also have problems in our defense, given like normalcy bias as one of the big issues for that. We very much see on like the space people thinking that buying 51% of your votes is how you get a DAO attacked. It can be very much cheaper than that, and we see a few examples. And for normalcy bias, we see a lot of, oh, this is never gonna happen to me. My favorite centralized exchange is too big to fail, and then suddenly you're all gone. So those are parts of what makes it hard to defend. More than once we've come to a DAO now and say like, hey, you're not safe. We need to look into some matters here, to go to a steward, to a big delegate, to someone on a foundation, and they're like, nah, we're safe, we're gonna be all right. And we're just, well, hoping they're right for now. And as Lazarus knows, so we have to know too. We're looking at accelerating anti-capture resistance based on L2Bit and what it's done for L2s. That is not only bringing data, but also making the players accountable for the decentralization in the case of L2Bit, and for their DAO security in the case of anti-capture. That's the platform we're bringing up. We're working with Uniswap, ENS, and now with Optimism under analysis. We're looking at a stages framework and a series of risk areas that we're defining based on governance implementation and community metrics and market metrics. It is, for now, a few composed data points and a lot of direct data points, so token distributions and economic values. Very much invite anyone to go to anticapture.com and check it. And the view is that it's dangerous in governance, it's dangerous out there. So take this, we wanna make this public, we wanna make this open as much as possible. We can't right now publish all the DAOs we're analyzing because there's some points that are just at high risk. So right now we have Uniswap and ENS public as we consider they're at a safer position to give people an understanding of what we're aiming at. We're looking at some solutions, alert risks, proposal alerts, upgrades to governor models. We're working with governance audits. We did one for Uniswap recently, trying to increase the defenses that we've seen in delegation, and also starting to work towards a white hat attack fund, as it's better if we're able to organize, attack, drain, restore, than to wait for it to just disappear. We're looking at expanding the research we're doing. We want to adapt this beyond governor compound model. There's many DAO and governance models, and we're trying to get to them all. We want to help DAOs start resilient, not wait for a problem to arise to fix it. And well, we're very much welcoming anyone that wants to help us find the right questions, the right paths to do this. A few ways you can help us get at it is connect us with DAOs you think that need more defense, with investors that are looking into governance tokens that might be interested in what do they want to know before they invest, because people who do due diligence as their job are quite good at looking at some of those things already. So learning what they're looking for and what we can provide to them can be very helpful. And well, in general, get in the platform, give us feedback, tell us how to improve this, how would you would want to see more data to know a DAO your part is secure or not. We're looking to make this as efficient as possible, as soon as possible. I wish we had time for questions, but we don't. Thank you, Amir. You here still? No? Okay. Thank you.